hope you're all fed and watered and you've had a good break with morning tea and whatnot, because we're just going to launch into a new activity now, and we're going to be making preserved lemons. And does anyone use preserved lemons in cooking?
Sometimes.
Yeah. What kind of foods are you using?
Chicken. Mixing
Fish.
Salads. Fish.
Couscous. Tagines.
Tagines. So, like in a tagine, you wouldn't really use the rind and the pith. You'd just use the you'd use the rind and not the pith. So, yeah. Whereas with say a curry or like Thai foods, they use the whole. You just pop the whole bit in, and it just sort of simmers into the curry or the stew or whatever you're making. So. Similarly with a tagine, like you might just put the whole thing in and the flavours just infuse in. They have a really nice smoky taste to them, and but they do use quite a lot of salt, so it's one way of preserving lemons. There are other ways. You can wind dry the rind. I mean, these are just ways to avoid putting it into the compost, really. Yeah, and it's just another way to appreciate food. So that's what we're about here today, is just discussing the process of what you're going through here. And you can do this with limes. It's really nice, this process that we're about to use. You can chop up a lime and put some salt in and some chili, and you've got really, really strong flavours. Yeah. Do you ever use preserved lemons? Or?
Yeah, I do, and I use them mainly to flavour kind of fish. And also in salads as well. Yeah, chickpea salad's beautiful. But definitely the trick is just don't touch the pith if you're going to be eating. To only eat the rind, because the pith is really horrible.
Yeah. You can deodorize your room with the leftover lemon.
Sorry?
Boil it in water, deodorize a room, you know.
Yeah, that's true. You could use the pith for the...
Just the whole, whatever leftover lemon after you've juiced it.
After you've juiced it, yeah.
I put leftover lemons in my dishwashing, like when I'm washing up, into the sink.
Oh, okay.
And it makes everything smell beautiful.
Use it to clean a bit of your fridge.
So there's all sorts of ways that you can do things. And I mean, ultimately, who has a compost or a worm farm here? If you don't, there's actually the councils. Yeah, the councils have actually put together
a workshop
in the kitchen garden project. Yeah, they've got workshops. There's also the Compost Revolution, which is an initiative of Randwick and Woollahra and Waverley councils, and what they do is they send you to do an activity, or you can do workshops, can't you? Yeah. And then once you've gone through that process, there's actually all sorts of freebies that you can get. So it's quite a good thing to do. But what we're talking about here isn't compostable stuff. We're not talking about food scraps. We're talking about the stuff that we're wasting and we shouldn't be. So perfectly good edible food that shouldn't be wasted in the first place. So what I'm going to do in a moment is I'll walk you through the preserved lemons activity. Then we're going to clean up all of the tables, and then we're going to do another activity which is about menu planning. So one of the things that we're talking about today is how to store all that excess food that you've got, how you avoid actually getting to that point in the first place. The best method, of course, is avoidance. If you don't want to waste food, you should just avoid buying it in the first place. So we're going to talk about some of the barriers to shopping, and to shopping without a shopping list, and what sort of things that can produce. And we're going to plan for different scenarios with menu plans. So it'll be good fun, and that'll take us through to about 12:30, 12:45. Yeah. So with the preserved lemons activity, what we're doing is it's very simple. We'll have some knives for you. Just sort of launch onto a table. Find yourselves a chopping board. We're going to cut the lemons in half and then turn them onto the front. So I might just do a quick demonstration with a lemon, actually. So we got a knife. I was going to do it over there, but it's best here. So we are literally going to cut them like this, and then we do this on either side. And then what we do is we put the salt, we wedge salt. And what kind of salt we're using is non-iodized cooking salt, because otherwise your lemons turn kind of a murky black colour, like we were talking about before. Iodized salt is really, really good for you, So when you're just using regular salt in your cooking, you use your Saxa salt. But for this sort of stuff, you want to use your cooking salt.
Can you explain this? Because iodized salt is mineral rock salt, which doesn't come from the sea. It's deprived of, it's iodine free, so they put the iodine so that we don't get what they call iodine deficiency. Sea salt is a natural product which contains natural occurring iodine. Does that mean that we cannot use sea salt?
I'd say so, yes.
So it has to be rock salt, mineral salt.
It has to be the cooking salt that says non-iodized on it, yeah. And it doesn't have to be, but if you want your lemons to look pretty, yeah.
Can I ask you a question about the lemons? They're supposed to be waxed or have some sort of coating outside. So what?
You want to scrub your lemons. Now, with this one today, I haven't actually done that a lot, but I've washed them and I've scrubbed them off as best as I could. So you might want to, if you don't want to use the lemons today, if you prefer not to, that's fine. But you'll at least have a free jar to take home. But yeah, it's just the process. It's a very simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab some salt, about 2 tablespoons per thing. Just wedge it in
each half.
No, each jar that you're using.
Oh, sorry. Yep. Okay.
So one tablespoon per jar, really. We're just going to wedge it in there. We're going to squeeze the lemon juice into the jar, and then what we're going to do is shove as many lemons in as we possibly can, and then we're going to leave again of the jar, because what we want to do is we want to pour water on top of it, and we want it to form a bit of a seal on top. And what happens is if you leave the lemon exposed to the air, it will grow a white mold on it, and it is harmless, so there's nothing wrong with the mold.
But the taste changes, isn't it?
The taste changes, you can just scrape it off, but yeah, it's ideally you want it to be completely covered. So I might just Richie, would you mind grabbing me one of the jars from over there, please? And some salts. And we've got lids for the jars as well, which we'll bring out for you too. Now these are clean straight from so I've given them a bit of a wash, but with this process you'll find you won't need a completely sterile jar, because the salt is the preservative, and yeah, it's pretty solid preservative that you've got there. What does salt actually do to a bacteria?
Basically, it's a question of osmosis,
yeah.
Isn't it? So basically, it would draw the moisture out of the bacteria. And
yeah, so that's the thing. So you can get mold living, but you can't get bacteria living in salt. So you're not going to get your botulism and all those nasties that are going to create problems, stomach problems for you, because the bacteria literally die, like they die from the lack of water. So that's pretty cool. So what we're doing is we're going to put the salt, literally just shove it in there. And it's a bit, now I do have gloves for people that have sensitive skin. There's gloves in the drawer there, and there's also, I'll pass some gloves around. And we're just going to literally squish in as many as we can. Now there might not be quite enough to go around to fill all of these things. I just realised that they're actually quite big jars. These are 500ml jars, really perfect for this purpose. And then what you'll do is you'll squeeze in, you'll fill up the rest of the jar once you've done that with water up to about there, and then you'll just seal the lid up. And that is literally how simple it is.
What is water? Cold water?
Cold water. Yeah, just cold water, it's fine.
Squeeze each lemon, though.
So you sort of squish them in, yeah, so that they've got what you're trying to do is get as much salt into the lemon as possible, so that it's permeating throughout the lemon, which is why we cut it into a quarter beforehand. And yeah, once you've done that, yeah, it's literally just the water, and there you go. Now then you'll need to let it sit for about 3 or 4 weeks. To speed up the process, what I sometimes do is I pop them in the freezer, the lemons, beforehand, and they actually end up macerating before you actually put them in there, so that the process has already started. But yeah, and then they're ready to go within a month.
Leave them out of the fridge, though, for 3 weeks.
You can leave them out of the fridge. Yeah, they just sit out they're quite pretty on the windowsill. Might have been sitting on the windowsill for a while. I'm just about to use them. Yeah, so it's quite a simple
Are you saying you freeze the lemons before you do the cutting and the salting?
Yes, yeah. Freeze the lemons before you do the cutting and the salting. And
Break
then
them down.
when you're ready to go, you just take a lemon out and you use it how you'll use it. I do have the actual recipe here with me today, so at the end of the workshop I'll hand out that and some other materials to you and make sure you've got everything to go. And I'll also be sending all this stuff out by email, so you should receive the information.
So are these lemons salty when you take them out of the...
Yeah, they get quite a smoky taste and they are salty, so if you if salt isn't something that you'd like to have in your diet, it's probably not a good thing to use. And like I said, there are other ways to preserve lemons, such as wind drying. So you literally hang up bits of lemon in a cheesecloth bag and keep the wind moving through so that they dry out. Yeah, and then it's just a simple drying process.
Whole lemon?
No, so you take it out and you just take the rinds.
For the rind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which is when you use a lemon, I mean that's all that you really want to have later anyway. You can always use squeeze the lemon juice into a container and the lemon juice keeps for weeks on end.
Freeze it.
Yeah,
Ice
put it in the
cream
freezer. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, so there's lots of ways you can use it. And when are lemons in season? They're coming up soon, aren't they? Yeah, they're kind of all year round.
Just finishing now.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Do you know about from a nutritional point of view? Do you know if vitamin C survives the process of preserving?
To be honest, I'm not entirely sure. No, I wouldn't say that this is a nutritional.
I mean, it's flavor. It's a way of preserving the flavor, but I was wondering if the vitamin C
them before
survives.
you actually put them into?
Yes,
Scrub it.
I would scrub it
No,
with
no, no,
some
not
steel
that.
wool.
No,
Before you eat them?
No. I've actually read in some recipes where they say rinse off, once you take it out of the jar, rinse off.
Yeah.
You do that?
Yeah.
I would,
Because
yeah,
one
rinse
time
off
I
the
did
salt.
it, it was so salty, it was
No, just rinse them.
rough.
Yeah.
Like with capers. Capers and salt.
Yeah.
Right.
Just rinse them. Just
Yeah.
hold them on,
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry, I forgot that part. That is actually really important. You should rinse it off so that you don't have as much of the salt content in
Well,
there.
it can be too strong sometimes if if you haven't.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. So everyone, make your way over to the tables, please. Maybe would you mind bringing a chair with you? Bring your chair with you up to a table. That's probably the best way to go.